Was like
These were just a number of
inside
them.
Bloomington.
And he agreed
There was one outside.
and put on his calendar
Or two.
to make the best effort to have this final for November's
The one I'm also
once again, remember last year?
Yes,
I
I
was
do.
brand new, and I
Yes,
said,
I
I feel
know.
like I'm getting hit with all this good stuff with no time to review it. And now you're asking me to vote, and I feel like we're in the same spot again. Now this year, I understand. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt that everybody just knew the first one Tyler went through, but Tyler before I even said anything.
And now the people that are.
Well, we should get that
Yes, please. So he put it on his personal calendar and see if we can. And it should be easier for him this year because he will have a template, update. But yeah, there's good stuff.
So my parents will be going down to see them on New Year's. So what I did is
Good way to do the opposite.
So I just came over and bugged him about 3 or 4 times, so I didn't take up.
Well, that is just,
Got a bound copy of it. That was my real copy. We got 6:29.
I know, I'm just have some ready, so they don't have to wait for me.
We never wait for you. You just start in.
You never even give us a chance to stand up after.
We're the ones that should be standing up before you get up.
Keep you on your toes.
Yes. Yeah, when she starts calling things to order, you have to start moving forward and get on your feet. And hopefully by the time she's done calling the meeting to order, you're out.
Out of here. Feel like church now. Okay. We will call to order the regular city council meeting for December 11th. Start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, we'd like to wish everybody a happy holidays in the crowd and the public on TV. This is our last meeting for the year, so happy holidays to everybody. With that, is there any changes to the agenda?
The Mayor, I have 2 additions that slipped through the cracks as far as projects go. There's a lot going on with projects tonight. We have change order number 3 for RNG for the Center Street project. And that's a deduct change order. And then we have 2023-123, and that's for the final pay app number 5 for the Center Street project. So that's the final closeout for that project.
Motion to approve is amended.
Second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll start off with the public hearing. So we need to open the public hearing.
7.
I'm sorry?
That's not until 7.
Oh, well, it doesn't say that.
Doesn't on here, but when we call for the hearing, it was at
Okay,
Okay.
we'll come back to that then. Does anybody in the crowd like to talk about something that is not on the agenda? I think that might be you guys. Can you want to come up here, Lynn?
Come to the podium there. It's being recorded.
State your name and your address, please.
My name is Lynn Goltz, and the address is 231 East Howlett Street. And I'd like to give a little history on our sewer backup that we have had 3 times. And Fortunately, it hasn't been as bad the last time, but we still had it. In 2010, there was a sewer backup, and that's when that, whatever it was to control the flow, wasn't turned correctly. That was in Chet Erickson's front lawn, and we did get about 2 inches of sewer backup at that time. The city's insurance took responsibility because apparently it didn't get turned correctly or in time. 2018 was our second sewer backup, 38 inches in our basement. The insurance did not take responsibility from the city, calling it a 500-year occurrence. We lost approximately 80,000 plus worth of personal items, many of them heirlooms from family members that are no longer with us. Some of them were made by them, such as a bed, an end table, lots of pictures, etc. My rocker I received from my grandparents back in 1950, maybe 1949, so you know how old I am. We had to replace the boiler and the water heater, plus go through all the cleaning and removal of everything and the stress of it. To refinish it again, it cost over $6,000 just in materials, as I was able to do most of the work myself. Taking several months when I wasn't subbing to help pay for it. The bill for spraying, disinfecting, and running dehumidifiers was $5,000 from ServiceMaster, and they did not remove one item. We had it all removed prior to that. We did it ourselves with help from family and friends, or it would have cost us thousands more to have ServiceMaster do it. 3 bedrooms, bathroom, furnace storage room, workshop, family room, and another storage room with several shelves in it. The basement was completely finished with items such as couches, chairs, beds, mattresses, carpet, baseboard heaters, water or workshop equipment, and 4 feet of sheetrock and insulation that had to be removed so they could disinfect properly. It was all soaking wet, and we had to carry everything up to be removed. It was a nightmare. One family member that helped us got very sick for a week because being exposed to these conditions. 2023, Mother's Day weekend, we had 7 inches of rain in the week. We had 7 inches of rain in 7 days, according to the Tracy paper. We had 8 inches of sewer backup again. Again, we had to replace the water heater. So it appears we'll never have to have a water heater replaced because it wore out. This keeps happening. We had damage to the boiler, and parts and labor was just under $600 to be able to get the heat going again in our home. Again, we had 2 feet of sheetrock and insulation removed from our full basement the 3rd time. We recently put another vanity and sink in the bathroom, our 4th one since we finished off our basement in 1993. 7 months before that last sewer backup, I was able to finish the bathroom in the basement completely, the floor included. And then 7 months later, we got the backup again, only to be destroyed, completely destroyed again. We went from having a nice basement finished off to rooms with no sheetrock for the bottom 2 feet through the whole basement. Our daughter says it puts a new concept on the open basement, or open rooms, the whole meaning of it. Due to the health decline and fear of this happening again, we will not refinish our basement until the city figures out why this keeps happening and what they're going to do. We've had a couple neighbors that have a lockout system installed by a plumber, and they still had a little bit of sewer backup. We've lived in our home since 1983 of December. I never had any sewer or water in our basement until the city started working on the sewer system. We don't even have a sump pump, as it's never been needed because we never had water coming into our basement until it started coming in with the sewer in 2010. One of the solutions would be for the city to install a lift pump that our former plumber told us about. It would keep the sewer out and have an alarm on it, guaranteeing we would not get sewer backup again. Another solution would be for the city to condemn our house and pay us fair market value. Who would want to ever buy a home if they had sewer issues like we've had, through no fault of our own? We have been told by a plumber and an engineer there's nothing wrong with our home, which is causing the sewer backup. The current sewer system is either engineered wrong or put in wrong. There's got to be a reason. We are not the only ones being affected by this. There was a number of other homes in our area with sewer backup each year that we've had it. Ours has just been more. This cannot keep happening, and we'd like you to have the engineer figure out why this is happening and how you're going to compensate us for all our losses. If this was your home and this was happening, what would you do? We had a Gates valve installed in our basement, so when we leave, we push that down, and that keeps all water from coming into our basement through our sewer system. We do that every time we leave our home if we're going to be gone for a day or more. That's all I have to say. Questions? I know we've talked with Shane a few times, and I mean, I think he's as bewildered why we're getting it as we are.
What can we do?
Last time when you guys were here, did you ever talk to Kyle?
We've never been here before.
I
But
thought
actually,
you guys were,
we came in and we talked to Eric and Shane
okay.
right after, the Monday after Mother's Day. And that's the only time we've been in.
I talked to you in the community one time about it.
Yeah, I guess like I know, I thought you were here, but maybe it was just
No.
when you talked to me about it.
The
Kyle,
problem,
you-
overall problem is I&I, which the city is working to take, corrective action on. But, it all takes money too.
What does I&I mean?
Inflow and infiltration, which is why we've been doing the sewer project, which is why PCA put a moratorium on it. The thing in Chet Erickson's yard was removed due to the MPCA requiring it to be removed. The reason it never happened before is they used to have an automatic bypass, which PCA didn't allow anymore. Thus, in 2003, they required that transfer structure to be installed in Chet Erickson's front yard, which has now been removed because they don't even allow them anymore. The only way to bypass now is to pump. Where it used to automatically bypass the storm sewer, now you have to pump it. So our system doesn't have any provisions of telling us when we need to pump it, other than me staying up all night and watching the flows. In this case, and I know I sent an email out to the council on what happened shortly after this happened, but along with the league's determination on the claim. But the flow meter wasn't designed to take on that much flow. It wasn't ever calibrated to take on 5,600 gallons a minute. Our normal flow is 100 gallons a minute. So it's way over what it was spec'd at. Since this incident, I had a calibration company come out, and we changed the flow meter structure to allow for higher flows. So that night, the flows peaked, but then they dropped, according to the flow meter. Well, what happened is it got too close to the transducer from the water coming through it, and started reading backwards. So instead of reading more flow, it's reading less. So where it looked like it spiked and went back down, it actually went back up. So it didn't alarm us. So, and the system wasn't designed for that much flow. It was designed for maybe 4,800 gallons a minute. We had well over that. And in the spring, it's people with footing drains. They don't have sump pumps. They normally have footing drains. Usually 90% chance of it, especially in the lower areas of town. Really old houses, shallow enough basements, they may not have sump pumps, but those footing drains and sump pumps, especially in the spring, people don't have them up soon enough. We get heavy rain in the spring along with the snow melt. That puts a lot of stress on our system, and in this case, that's what happened. So it was overwhelming, the system from the rainfall we had. We had 7 inches of rain over a period of 2 days, along with the snow melt. So
That was the 20,
that was this year.
okay, yeah.
That was the last incident that he talked about here, so.
But I thought the newspaper had 7 inches of rain in 7 days.
I took a picture of it, and I'm sure Per can look it up.
You can look it up too,
I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I looked it up. I had taken a picture of it. I don't want to look it up now, but it was 7 inches in 7 days. And I know most of it was closer together, but it was 7 inches in 7 days.
So was it universally that it was sewer, or is there some places that actually had them actual water backup too?
it's a combination. In this case, it was probably, well, if you figure, it's usually 100 gallons a minute, we had 5,600. Everything outside of the 100 gallons a minute would be
Water.
storm water. So it's highly diluted, but
So the alarm that, or the meter, whatever, that didn't go off because it was so close,
nothing alarms us.
but
So,
whatever the
but-
mechanism is,
but I
that's,
monitor it when we have a heavy rain, or looks like we're having a heavy rain soon, or the spring snow melt. I monitor it sometimes every hour.
but that system didn't tell you,
No,
it told you it was going
it's
down.
false reading.
So have we been able to correct that
Yeah,
for the
that's what I
future?
said. I had a calibration company come out, and once we get the SCADA system, I'm gonna have a mechanism in place to call us. So that way, if I fall asleep for some reason, or like the flood when we didn't expect any rain and we got 11 inches. Situations like that, it gets rid of that chance of error. But there's really no mechanism in place out there right now to call us.
So let's just say that it continues to rise and rise and rise and gets to a point. What can you do anyway?
Pump. And that's not 100% either. If we got more water, so during the flood, we had 7 pumps around town. It took all day to pump that system down. It's just, nothing was designed.
So once it gets away from us, as far as a level of water, this 100-year flood that we've had 3 times in the last 20 years
Yeah.
is kind of what we're dealing with. And that's every community. I was up in Albertville, St. Michael at one point in time where there were canoes in the front yards, people were, yeah, I don't know what the,
Well, it doesn't make it any easier when you have to back up 2 times in 5 years.
yeah, exactly. Nobody will.
No, the pack out wasn't as bad the second time,
Right.
because everything was done the first time,
Right.
but it still did happen again.
It seems like if we had a situation where we had some false readings, that there should be some grounds to appeal the verdict by our insurance carriers. That's why we carry liability insurance. I mean,
I
it's
think we
just,
went to this League of Cities and they
yeah,
turned this down, right?
it seems like we should, can we appeal it again?
It's up to them to appeal it. It's up to the homeowner to
The
appeal
homeowner.
it.
I think we should go on to at least have Matt send a letter or something.
Get the force of the city behind it. What about the lift station, Shane? Do you see that as a partial solution maybe, or no?
Not really.
Where would that be? That would be for a whole community? It wouldn't be just one house, right?
The lift station that was suggested to us, we put in our basement.
Yeah, and we don't do any, the city doesn't do plumbing and personal.
I know, but as a compensation and to stop this from happening. I mean,
Did you get bids on it or anything, or?
no, no. At this point, we've spent so much money.
Rose,
On
can you
sewer
come up to
backup.
the podium? Thank you.
At this point, we've spent so much money already on sewer backup that you just can't get ahead on it. Plus the stress of it all.
Yeah.
And we're not getting any younger. And who would ever buy our house? I mean, this problem is not fixed.
So I know you've gone through a lot of expenses. I'm just asking if any of the expenses included like that lockout system or.
No, we didn't even put that in there.
Or anything to help in the future in getting done, or all your expenses
Just the
were
gate, the
to
gates
fix?
valve,
What?
just the gates valve. Push it down if we're gonna be gone or if it looks
We
like-
put that in ourselves. We
Yeah.
haven't been compensated for it. After the first flood, the city paid and Service Master
2010.
cleaned it out, and then it was paid to have it redone. And it's gotten washed out again twice. When it's hardly, I mean, it hardly got used because our kids were gone.
Have you ever cameraed your sewer?
No,
outside your foundation?
I have no idea how to do that.
No, it would be a company that would come out.
But if you have a footing tile on the outside of your house.
And can you check on that? Because why would we
I've
not?
been looking through and I haven't found any footage in a lot of cases. I don't know, Kyle, unless you may have something for their property, but when they check them when they do the street projects. But if there's a footing tile on the outside of your house, you put the check valve on the inside, if that sewer backed up, it's gonna fill that tile and you're still gonna get flooded, regardless of that check valve. So, and.
But
footing
it's
tiles-
backed up even without a check valve, so.
Right. But even if you put a lift pump in the inside, if you have a footing tile on the outside, that sewer backs up, it's gonna fill that tile and it's gonna go right into your
But
basement.
if you got a tile on the outside to collect moisture, wouldn't you have to have a sump pump in the house? And we don't
Depends on when
have,
the house is built.
68 or 69?
Right,
Yeah.
so late 50s to, or mid 80s, 80% chance,
Yeah,
they tiled that thing right into the sanitary sewer.
the church parsonage was that way. It got flooded. Growing up there, I don't know how many times we always had water in the basement and found out that's exactly what had been done. It came around and hooked up to where the sewer went out of the house to the front yard. So,
Yeah, so it's just something to check, because that could be contributing to your check valve not working properly too.
But why, when the house was built in 69 until 2010, never ever was there water in that basement?
Because there's an automatic bypass that PCA was required to have us remove.
Oh,
So it used to just, so when the sewer filled up, it automatically went on its own. It filled up, went over a little wall and into the storm sewer. Well, then PCA didn't like that, so they required the gate and alarm, which is what they put in Chad Erickson's front yard. Well then, when that alarm went off, we had usually less than 5 minutes to get there to open that valve during the storm to prevent that from happening. And in that case, the way it sounds, say, I don't know all the details. I was here in 2010, but I don't know all the details of that incident. Other than I knew we pumped that night and I knew it was a mess. But as far as the gate being opened, I don't know the details on that. I'm sure it's somewhere in a file, but you know, so that was an issue, then, you know, insurance may have covered that. In this case, you know, the only other way to bypass is to pump it. So we have to find a manhole, set pumps up, pump it out. So our best battle against the cyanide issues is when we send notices out to get people's sump pumps out of the system. They need to get them out of the system. Because our system isn't designed for stormwater. It's designed for sewage, which it is designed correctly for sewage. In fact, it's built actually overkill for what sewage that the city, you know, collects. But it's a stormwater thing, which is why it's oversized, is to take some of the stormwater, but we can't build a system, you know, for a 100-year flood.
if I understand right too, our stormwater system starts basically out by the high school. And it just
It flows
collects and flows and
southwest to
flows and
northwest.
flows and flows and flows, and you guys are near the end of that.
and so I understand that the sewer pipes going out now are smaller than they were before,
Bigger.
but we still have all that water coming in, so there's more water coming in and going into a smaller sewer pipe on our side. So it's gonna back up and go somewhere.
So you had a 12-inch line, you now have an 18-inch line.
I had heard it was the opposite.
No. I have plans, I can Kyle's well aware.
And I don't know who Kyle is.
He's our engineer. Hi.
Hey.
So, and I did talk to your son-in-law
Yep.
last week, you know, and I explained that to him. I said, you know, the city's diligently working to help alleviate this problem, because on a maintenance standpoint, it's a nightmare for us too. You know, because, and you weren't the only ones that flooded, you know, I had probably 3 other houses on top of
We
yours
know
we
that.
dealt with.
We know that.
So, you know, I don't like those phone calls. You don't like to make those phone calls.
No, and you probably wouldn't like to clean up for us either.
No, and it's just, you know, it's something we work to prevent in general, you know, but we can't help Mother Nature either. That's what we're up against, too, along with the contributors of the stormwater in the system.
So Shane, what teeth do we have for people getting their sump pumps out of the sanitary sewer? Other than, I'll comply, but do we do inspections? What teeth do we have?
So we do inspections, but to inspect 900 different houses, buildings in a matter of a week.
Well, and I know that in our place over there, Dad's old house, there's, you know, you can change it, because in the winter months, then it's changed, right?
Yeah, and now, city ordinance, they adopted back in, I think, 17 or 18. Now that when you have a sump pump connection in front of your place, you're required to hook to it, and you can no longer discharge to the sanitary. So say every project we do, you know, we did 21 blocks in 382, and we did another 8 blocks this year, and prior to that we did 18 blocks. And all those blocks, they added sump pump connections, you know, along with your area too. You know, so people can discharge to that instead of being even able to go into their sanitary at all. So that gets rid of the having to switch the valves. It's just a permanent connection.
So you're saying even if we put that Gates valve down, we're still going to get sewer in our basement?
If you have footing drains, yes. Because that tile will fill up and then it'll seep through your walls.
And who can tell them if they have the
Yeah,
footing
can you
drains?
tell that?
We don't have a camera, the city doesn't have a camera, but EnviroPump has a camera. They have televised for us. I think, there's a company in Tyler that also has a camera. And I think maybe Saltram has a camera too. that I know of.
ISG has a camera now.
I don't know that ISG would, maybe they would.
We do the large drain tile, egg tile, so the bigger 18 or whatever.
Okay.
We don't do typical. I would say that what typically we'd see is a plumber or somebody like that that would be able to use a floor drain and go up a floor drain, or pull a toilet in a basement and go out that way to do that check or inspection.
That's what I know. We're trying our best.
I mean, would we, I know you said that the homeowners are the ones that have to appeal the decision to the league, but do you think we could have Matt send a letter or something for the city to support, or to show a little?
Like a little backing for them?
Yeah, so it's not just, I don't mean to say just the homeowner, but that there is the city acknowledging this is an issue. We're just not acknowledging it's our liability necessarily, but to give you guys a little more oomph behind you. Not that it'll do any good, but it wouldn't hurt, I wouldn't say.
Well, in the meantime, what do we do? I mean,
I think
pushing the
from
valve.
what I'm hearing is definitely need to find out if you have an outdoor
yes.
Yeah.
drain tile
Definitely.
system. And I would bet that you do. Our home in Elm Street did, and we got the same thing in 2020. It wasn't coming up through the floor drain, it was coming out of the walls. It just fills and fills and fills until you have the reverse of a swimming pool. You have all the water and that's what happened in that big flood. That's why a lot of the basement, the actual walls were moved because of that hydraulic pressure.
Ours came up through the sewer and the toilet. We could actually see it on the top of the tank.
it'll find its way in. There's just that
And a
much
neighbor
water.
who
There's just that
And a
much
neighbor
water.
who even had a plumber put hers in, had sewer back up in her shower this last time. She didn't realize it until she was getting company. She'd gone down and walked around after she talked to me, and then a couple weeks later went down and saw it in there.
Which neighbor is that?
Kitty corner from us,
Right across the street.
southeast.
Boardroom.
Okay.
And I would like the city, maybe have staff review our ways of trying to encourage more compliance. And Shane, I can appreciate the difficulty of inspecting 900 basements, but I do remember at one time, I think Jan, you were on the council, the city hired Don Christensen, who was at Dairy Queen at the time, and he physically went around to all the basements and said, you got to get your sump pump out. And I know at the headlight we installed some new plumbing at the time, and I don't know, just maybe just the voluntary compliance here that we have that we're relying on just is not good enough. There's maybe something else we can do.
Yeah, and we do have a compliance form that anytime we go in for a water meter or
Right.
any reason we have, for a building inspection, we have requirement to check that while we're in there, so. So we do spot check, periodically, but,
Yeah.
Doing so many staff, so.
Yeah. No, it's an ongoing thing, but Lynn and Rose, I can sure understand. There's nothing more distressing than having sewage and water in your basement, and I've had it happen to me too.
That's a fortune of money that you,
We've spent,
out of your own pocket.
Yep.
and it's not solved yet, so, I mean, it's just very frustrating.
Are you eligible for flood insurance?
We have the maximum of 10,000, and that doesn't even touch anything.
Yeah.
It was 5,000 the first time, and we could go out, you can't go any higher than 10,000. And that doesn't take care of it at all. Because we hired a company to come in and, because we weren't able to haul that out, so we had to hire somebody else to come in and haul all that out. And we didn't really want to ask a whole lot of family members again when someone already got sick, very sick. And we only found out by mistake that that had actually happened. They hadn't even told us.
So can you do the appeal to the insurance company?
Mm-hmm. If we can get the,
All right. we'll be in touch.
Information.
Have-
yeah, I was never told that that was an option.
Yeah, that should have been in your letter from the league. Back in June, I think.
I don't know if we got a letter
Yeah, we did
the
get a
second
letter.
time?
Yeah, we
Last
did,
one?
we got a letter.
Okay, I guess I never saw it.
If not, I have a copy of it.
Good.
But we should definitely figure out if you have that drain. So if that's the case, then we can
Yeah, that's your
stop
first
that.
Thanks for coming.
Thank
Yes,
you very
thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Public
All right,
hearing.
we'll do the public hearing. So we will open up the public hearing. So, seeing nobody from the public that wants to talk about anything about our public hearing, which is the truth and taxation.
Yeah, are we
Is there
going to have a
something-
presentation on the
Yeah,
budget?
is there, as soon as Tyler gets back. Tyler, is there some things you wanted to discuss with us about the budget before we?
I mean, it's the numbers we've gone over before.
Did you close the public hearing?
Isn't that part of the public hearing?
No.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second,
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I guess I'd have to vote. Or All right.
I know, it looks like it is.
As I was saying, it's same numbers we've talked about in the past. I mean, if you have any questions, if you've gone through it, I can answer any questions. It's the same numbers as I sent you when it was the long list of expenditures and revenue, but now it's in a pretty format because the numbers were finalized and I was able to make it pretty.
So this is the same presentation that was given at the last meeting for the budget?
It's a little more thorough than what we had at the budget, and I want to just tell Tyler, excellent job. I really love this. I've been in to bug him 3 times, I think, in the last 2 weeks, and when I got this, another time to go through. And I did express my concern and that I did a year ago of getting this on the date that we actually have to approve it, and without even asking, he said, well, I should put that on my calendar for next year so we'll get it to you in November, and he did. I appreciate that. And I think it would be much more helpful. This is a lot of good information. I did go through as much as I could, but not as much as I would have loved to. But I'll also say that I feel very confident he has a good handle on this with Shane's input and Jeff's input and the questions I asked. He was able to dig almost right away and show me what it was I was looking at and where it balanced out. So I feel pretty confident that it's done.
And Seth, I know that you were hoping that we could maybe bring the levy down a wee bit, but I think it was only a margin of about $11,000, and even increasing at 1% then would not have a balanced budget. So I think we're within reason to go with the 7%, regretfully, because that is a very high number. But I believe the way everything looks, Taylor, we are going to be able to lower our levy going forward.
Yep, that's my hope, because our debt service is going to stay pretty much flat.
Well, I think
Anything else drastic comes up.
that's the issue. We've got one more year of, at least, of our 10-year debt service. So unless we stop doing additional projects, capital improvements, I'm not completely convinced that, but I'm hoping that we don't have to.
Yeah, I think that testimony from the Goldsons shows why we have to keep at it, trying to plug away at this aging infrastructure. It's a major problem. But we do have to recognize, though, what we had in a levy for debt retirement was historically, before we started all these infrastructure projects, it was below 500,000 in a year. And I think the charts that we have showing that the debt declines, the debt load declines a little bit starting in 2 years. In a way, it's a little deceiving because it's still the debt levy is still much higher than it used to be, and it just has to be.
Now, if I understand right, though, our 7% then starts the new level. I mean, that if we're voting on 7% next year, it's 7% above the 7% above the. And what you're asking is, we're hoping that we don't have to go above this 7% going forward. I'd agree, definitely.
Have a smaller increase in future years.
Jan, your comment reminded me there was one change since the last time we talked. Jeff had me increase the budgeted salary for an employee who's had a lot more responsibilities than her job title had written out. And so he's been in, I believe you guys are aware of this, he's been in discussion with the union and they're trying to iron out the details on that. So that $11,000 number is more, it's closer to like $2,000 now.
Okay.
Yep.
directions. That was what I was recalling.
Yeah, yeah, you were right on. Good job.
There will be an amendment too, for the street projects. There's a little squabble over subcontractors and quantities. So we're not able to close out completely on the lining project and the phase 3A2 project. It's not really on us, it's gonna be between the sub and the general contractor on those. The payouts tonight will pay out most of all of the projects. So we got whatever we could have done get done this year. So there'll be a little bit of carryover, but very minimal in 2 of the projects, so.
And
We're
I thought,
talking,
Do they still have work to finish yet though?
no,
So
there's,
those sidewalks that are sinking in that are not gonna
so
get
that'd be
replaced?
warranty. So we're just watching them, we got them on our list as a warranty item. And that's outside. They have a year warranty after the substantial to take care of those issues, so.
and I can't remember where I read that something came in under budget, what, on materials or something on one of the projects, over 100 and some thousand, it was just, what, 111,000, 121, or,
And there's a change order later on that. but
right, so what do we do with that? Money?
It would stay in the sewer water storm funds.
We don't have to send that back, or, okay,
That's our money.
that's because that's a, okay.
We may get paid short a little bit on PFA and county, but we didn't expend it either. But we have all the RD money ready, so, all the grant money, so. Next.
Tyler, the swimming pool used to be a separate enterprise fund until several years ago. And it was changed because the swimming pool fund never made any money, which is what an enterprise fund is supposed to do, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now what is the pool listed under now?
It's under the general fund,
Isn't it just a part of the general fund?
right? And it has its separate category under the general fund.
It's under 45,124.
But then some of the employees are underneath, though, aren't they underneath the community development?
Well, I mean, the pool is under the community development category.
Okay.
It's kind of funky.
So according to this, we're down $5,000, $5 million from the intergovernmental revenue.
The numbers are kind of skewed because of the grants and everything coming in and out from last year to this year to 2024. So now 2024 might be our first normal year since 2016.
There's no more grant money in there?
There is some grant money, but not huge dollars for these street projects. And I know and Tyler can maybe go into further detail, but the auditors actually want to keep that out of the budget in the future, the project funds, until it's all done. So it doesn't change drastically up and down. I don't know if that's correct, Tyler, but
That's right.
So then you'd have a whole separate accounting for that. So we would at least see it was balancing, but it's not ballooning up our budget one year and
Yeah,
then
which
slam
would
it
make
down.
perfect sense, because otherwise it looks like we
yeah.
dropped $5 million worth of revenue, and it's not actually revenue.
And then at the end, you record the depreciation. You put that in the depreciation schedule of the capital and then depreciate it out.
And then so going over a number of years, which as soon as it bypasses 2024, then we're out of that budget cycle and it's just, it's confusing and so.
And it caught my attention that on the proposed budget, the expenditures were higher than the revenue. I consulted with expert Dave, and I said, so, and I was making a guess that there was carryover money from 2023 that was going to balance that out. But it doesn't show anywhere on the actual budget part of it. You know, where you show the carryover, did I miss that somewhere?
Well, part of that, I think it's $172,000 is from the hospital fund. So we budget for these expenses, so then you get your expenses higher, but there is no revenue. It's another financing source. So that's where you'll see it, is in the other financing sources. That's one part of it. Another part
Well, it was
is,
like 400-some thousand that we were off.
yeah, and then another part is the, it's the ARPA money
Okay.
that's carried over. And then we are, I'm trying to remember if we're slated to use, I believe we're slated to use some fund balance in the water fund for the SCADA system.
But it
So,
was maybe money left over that was not expended in 2023 that's being carried over, basically.
a good chunk of it, yep.
I disagree. I think it would be very beneficial for us to have this
Ahead
earlier,
of time.
just for these type of questions.
Right.
Because as we're looking at it, to you it makes perfect sense, but to us that don't use all these different accounting processes the same way, because this is like different than what we do at the hospital with stuff. So I mean, and with our households, we know what we carry over in our checking accounts or our savings. It's very clear. Where in this type of accounting, it's not as clear to us lay people.
I agree.
I also liked your little explanation of all the acronyms on the back. That helped too.
Yeah, I'd like it a lot if next year we can get the budget pegged down like early November, and then I can get it into this format much sooner. Because, yeah, I mean, it takes a long time to go through 135 pages.
Yeah.
Especially when it's all new to you.
But usually if we try to have that preliminary budget done by September, I think we usually have a preliminary that we decide, okay, this is what we're gonna go
Yeah,
with.
there's a pretty good gap in there. It was in
Yeah.
here with the dates are and whatever, and so, yeah.
And hopefully we can get you the information so
Yep.
that then you can.
And then with
9/25, we adopted the preliminary budget. So between September and December, we got a little time in there where it'd be nice to get
And then with Jeff being here next year, then we'll be able to get all the numbers pegged down sooner.
Yep.
Because this year with that transition, it took a little while.
Well, I appreciate all that work. Thank you.
Okay, then with that, do we need some motions if you guys are
Sure, I'll
comfortable?
start. Make a motion to approve resolution 2023-115 adopting the final tax levy for 2024 fiscal year.
I'd second that.
So, first and a second, is there any further discussion on that before we do roll call? Alrighty, roll call, please.
Robson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Tiggs,
Aye.
Arvizo,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Mayor Corman.
Yes.
Have at it.
I will move to approve resolution 2023-116, approval of the 2024 budget.
First and a second, any other discussion on this one?
And just got one question. There was one line item that lists $6,000 for donations to different groups. And I think the Wheels Across the Prairie contribution has been included in that $6,000 we asked. But I'm assuming that those allocations come back to the council for what we've ultimately decided to do with that $6,000?
Yep, we always do
I would
that.
think,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, just wanted to clarify that. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Tiggs,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Arvizo,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Robson,
Yes.
Mayor Corman.
Aye.
In regards to those donations, those haven't been made yet this year.
We don't make them until they request them.
Just so you're aware.
Okay.
For 2023, you're saying?
Right.
We better get those in.
Yep.
I thought we did a couple.
You approved them
I thought we
being,
did.
you approved them, the option of them being made, but then when we were discussing it, you'd said that we should wait until they request them. But if you desire that we just
I thought we
make
did a
them,
couple resolutions, so we'll have to look up what we resolved to do.
Nothing?
Our historian says no.
We did a resolution authorizing that they be
Available.
allocated to them in certain amounts, but
Okay.
we don't allocate until an actual request comes in.
Well, that might be nice for them to know since we have this couple of weeks left of the calendar year. So then would that affect what you have in here, because would it already be calculated as a carryover? If it's not expended in 2023, it's carried over.
well,
No,
we don't really do
expenditure,
carryovers per se.
Okay, so if we don't spend the money,
It's in our general fund.
it's in the, okay.
Fund balance. We got a lot of those things, but then.
Okay, did we do a roll call for that one?
That one's done.
Okay,
done
so
with
we
that
need
one.
the next one.
We did for the first two, not the third one.
Do we have a motion for the fee schedule?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-117, authorizing the adoption of the annual fee schedule for 2024, and that's a lot of reading to go through that, son of a gun.
And
There's a few of those. that
I would
should have been
like
changed.
next year to start earlier on that, because I think you guys did a good job of updating, but there's some, I have no idea what the difference between a peddler license is and a transient license. It seems like the same thing, but they're not the same amount, and it's just a lot of.
They're different.
You know,
things.
there's a lot of things, there's a
Two
few
different
things that I
things.
thought should have been changed in there too, but, so we'll have to do
So-
that next year.
Maybe it might be, rather than try it as an entire council, maybe sometime next year, just appoint a
gonna
smaller
say a small
group
work
and just bring back a recommendation of, of what we should, because I saw something in there too, that if individuals are virtually breaking the law, we're charging $100 for certain things, like, that isn't much of a deterrent in some circumstances.
Is there any way to go through and see when any of these were last used? Is that possible? I mean, is there any, I know it'd be you, Diane, is there any record of any time the last time, let's say somebody did this, I know it's the Sunday liquor license, let's go to, the last time that was used compared to the last time the peddler license was used?
They're both used, but yes.
But I mean, is there a
Yeah.
way for you to go back on like each one of those to be able to tell when they were used last? You know what I
There's something
mean?
we haven't used for 20 years, we need to keep it.
Right.
Just going through
Other-
the time normally.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know if you need to like go through and see when the last one is, but if it hasn't been used since you've been here, that's a pretty good indication of that. You don't need that anymore. But there's a few of those fees that went up like $5, and it's like, was that even worth, I mean, it's like, go up a little more than that.
I like Tom's idea of having a work group versus all of us sitting.
Have a different opinion.
Yep.
Well, and I agree with that, Jerry. It was my impression that when we discussed this fee schedule earlier, that we were being invited to make suggestions to the fee schedule tonight. And I do have just several.
Have at 'em.
All right.
Now's the time.
Okay, I just think that in light of our pool operating deficit and how expenses have gone up and what we pay for lifeguards and so forth, I just think there's a few fees here that we could bump up. Like, okay, this is on, it's on the fourth page, on the annual fee schedule.
Seasonal resident.
Yeah, I just feel like, I'll just list them, the morning adult swim could easily go to $4. The evening swim could easily go from $3 to $4. I think that punch card coupon book that we have from $40. It's been there a long time, and it could easily be $50. It's only $5 a time. And I would even entertain bumping our daily admission to $7 from $6.
Now, I know Jeff had done some surveying of area places last year, of pools and swimming lesson fees and stuff like that.
Yep, nope, you're right. I don't remember the outcomes of those. Now, I know we were on the lower end of several.
I think because we actually had
I was gonna say,
people
you
coming
did
from
increase.
Marshall and Milroy and Lamberton and all around
Because we're cheaper,
using ours.
Yeah.
especially if they might live in between.
Well, and I think in light that there's going to be improvements that have been made, so a lot of things that, you know, they're sanding and painting, all these things are going to be even new and improved almost.
And I don't disagree with anything you just said, but I think like for tonight, we could pass this and then get the group together starting like in January and knock out a bunch of those, and then we can do a modification to it. And if we do an amendment to it, we can do the pool be one of the first things that we do.
Sure.
To get like that chunk done. Then we can just amend, delete,
I like that idea.
add on just to.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
fine with that.
So we would pass it as listed
As-
today.
Yeah.
And we have a motion on the floor, but we don't have a second.
Yeah, there was a second.
Oh,
No,
there was?
There wasn't?
No, there
Oh.
was no.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead,
Oh, I
Jerry.
thought there was.
Get your name in the record. Come on.
I've had enough.
Jerry seconded it.
Jared
I
did?
saw her.
Okay.
Okay, then, are we, have any other questions? We're all okay with the fact that we're gonna do it the way it sits, and then we're gonna form this group and, okay, perfect, then roll call, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Arvisu,
Yes.
Dobson,
Yes.
Higgs,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Corn.
Aye.
All right, so before we get too far away from that, who wants to be on that committee?
I'd help on that.
I would hope.
Well, and you're going to need
Yes.
Diane.
There can be
Well,
three of
someone
us
from
on
the
that
staff.
legally.
Yep.
We can have three council
So it's
people.
not a quorum. Well, I'm fine with the two of you and Diane and probably Jeff.
And Jeff, yeah.
And I would say go through the packet that you have at home, and if
Maybe
there's
even
some
Tyler
that,
would be
Yeah, Tyler for sure.
I suppose he's kind of
Half of it applies to me anyway.
There you
it.
go.
Right.
I was going to say, and if there's some that, like when if you go through it at home and there's some that you want to dig into, just highlight them and make sure that we look at
Oh,
them
one
for
of you
sure.
guys.
Yeah,
'Cause there's a couple I know that I looked at and kind of went, I don't know about that.
yeah, definitely.
There's a few of them that was like,
But that's something I would say get on right away, so we're not dragging our feet through it.
Sure.
So Seth and Tom wanted to be part of
Yeah.
that?
So Christmas Day,
Christmas Day. If you're gonna make it a very early morning, let's draft George. He's not here
Don't
to
teach him
defend
for not
himself.
yeah, we'll put him
Right.
on the committee. What the
tell George
heck?
you put him on the
See, you
committee.
guys did that to me one
Yes, we did.
That never
Got it,
happened.
George, now?
Okay,
Okay,
so we have to move on because
Yep.
we're gonna move on to the resolutions that require Shane because
Yes.
he needs to be out of here shortly.
I leave in 10 minutes.
Start firing.
Thanks, Tyler.
All right, you want to go to 9A?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, resolution 2023-118. Oh, this is, I don't know, Diane, are you going to cover this one, or?
I think we can do that one.
That's just what Matt put together at the last.
We can do that
Based
without,
on the
We
go
saw
to the
that.
ones
Yeah,
that
we
you
can
need to
approve
go
it.
to.
Yeah,
We saw it on last.
we'll
Yeah.
do that after you're
We can
done.
do that
You want
without,
to do that now, or?
We'll do it after you're
I
done.
say it's just get it off the
Okay,
cuff.
go ahead.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-118 to approve the updates to the handbook and union contracts.
Second.
okay, roll call, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Dobson,
Yes.
Higgs,
Aye.
Arvisu,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
and Mayor Corn.
Aye.
Jan seconded that.
Oh, yeah, resolution 2023-119 to amend the MnDOT agreement AWAS grant. So I think a month, maybe 2 ago, they mentioned that they're going to fund the AWAS actually in retro because it was a 2022 project. So that's an additional $37,276. That'll go back to the airport fund for the difference in the grant.
They're paying 100% now.
Yeah, so instead of 75-25, it's going to 100%.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve that resolution.
Fast.
2023-119.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Jones,
Aye.
Tiggs,
Aye.
Dobson,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Arvisa,
Yes.
Mayor Corman.
Aye.
All right, we got resolution 2023-120 for M&R paving excavation for the pipelining project. This would be payoff number 6. Must have had the last page. Oh, there it is. So it's for $126,266.62. There will be a change order on this for a deduct. So there'd be at most another 20,000 that would carry into next year's budget. We don't have everything nailed down yet on the exact amount, but that's roughly what it's gonna be. So instead of the 93,000, then it should be right around 20,000. So there's some quantity adjustments there at the end of the project, so.
And that'll be the last thing that's done on that project.
Yep, the next pay up will be final on this one and 382, so.
Gotcha. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-120 for
Second.
pay app 6.
Roll call, please.
Tiggs,
Aye.
Arvisa,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Dobson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Corman.
Aye.
What else you got?
All right. Yep. So we have resolution 2023-121 for RNG for work completed on page 382. This will be pay app number 15. Will not be final. This is the other project that we'll bring into next year. They have a little squabble over subcontractors quantities there with the paving. So, which the way it sounds isn't our problem. We talked to RNG. Kyle and I talked to RNG late last week, and they weren't able to iron it out before today. So, but this is for 105,000. 65-35. Is that right?
I told you it was what
Yep.
Okay, and you're okay with this? You're
Yep.
okay with this?
And there is still some retainage that we're going to bring into next year, just to kind of hang something over their head to get their paperwork turned in, so get this final out. So.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-121 for the RNG work pay app 15.
Second that.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye. Dobson,
Yes.
Schmidt, Arvisa,
Yes.
Tiggs,
Aye.
Mayor Corman.
Aye.
Okay, resolution 2023-122. Change order number 3 for RNG for the 3A Center Street. We're at the end of the project, so we had some quantity differences in the end, which results in a decrease of 120,128.35. Those funds would stay in utility funds. There may be a little bit in the general fund in the end. Pretty minor amount though. Most of that was budgeted through the ineligible fund. So, if you have any questions on?
And this is final, everything's done, the county's all done with their,
So this is a change order, so I'll need a approval for the change order difference, and then
So we approved a change order, which is coming through less than what we had approved before. Is that kind of what's going on?
yeah, so
Okay.
it gets laid out in here.
Yeah, so USDA at the end of all of their contracts they want the final and bottom line to say $0 remaining, $0. So it's this change order is more of an accounting thing.
Yep.
On these unit price contracts, there's always something, a little bit of fluctuation about up and down from that initial number that was bid on. And here we're under on a number of things with this particular project. There are a handful of things that came in under for some of the restoration or some of the hazardous materials that we had planned for were eligible to be reimbursed through petro fund type funds too. So some funds that were planned for didn't get used in those quantities. So this is just more of an accounting thing so that at the end of the day, that last pay up says
We're not
$0 remaining.
$20,000 back, or we're not.
Where you're not expending
We're
what
not
was planned for.
expending
Yep.
what we had planned
But it's
for.
less than budgeted,
Yep.
and there will be an extra $120,000 in the utility fund.
So, if you look at the change orders, we had change order 1 and 2. Number 1 was the signage and, I think those drop manuals.
There's some drop, yep.
Which was 15,906, and then we had 104,000 for the soils corrections because of the contaminated soils.
East side.
Which that'll get reimbursed through the petrol fund, along with another $10,000 and fees to E&T that we found today. So that's going to get reimbursed through the state. So the total change orders between this deduct and the additions was $404.37 for over the project. So we'll get, so that's the payout on this, and then we'll get that other
Would be some additional reimbursement from,
14,000 back from petrol fund, so, which who knows how soon.
yeah, it'll take a little while, but
Get that application.
Okay.
Moved and seconded.
Yep. Do we got? No, we haven't yet.
You gotta make the motion for it.
All right, move resolution 2023-122, is that the right one?
Yep.
Approving change order number 3, phase 3A Center Street Infrastructure Improvement Project.
Second it.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
Dobson?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye.
Mayor Corman?
Aye.
All right, last one is 2023-123 for phase 3A Center Street final payment, number 5. This will close out Center Street, and this will be contingent on RD approval, and all their paperwork is turned in to final agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-123, the phase 3A Center Street final payment.
Second.
So first and second, so my only question is you're happy with how everything turned out on this one, this job? Good, that's good. Okay,
Turned
roll
out
call, please.
really smooth.
Jones?
Aye.
Dobson?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Arvisu?
Yes.
Teets?
Aye.
Mayor Corman?
Aye. With that, Jane, I think we can handle the rest of this without you.
Run.
Run, don't walk.
Yeah, I think we're about,
Run
Yeah.
Forrest.
most of it was me.
We can handle the rest of it. Here, we're not done.
Huh?
We're not done, he's
No,
done.
I have to go to the concert.
Oh, you're going to concert too? Well, bye-bye, guys.
He's more important than I am.
We'll go fast so other people can go.
Okay, so then what we have left is a consent
Hey, guys.
calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the November 27th council minutes, approve municipal accounts payable and payroll without breakthrough beverage.
Second.
Is first and second, do we have any discussion on that? Okay, roll call, please.
Arvisu?
Yes.
Teets?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Dobson?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Mayor Corman?
Aye?
Thanks for letting me bail.
Yeah.
See you, bud.
I'll make a motion to approve municipal accounts payable for breakthrough beverage.
First and second, can we have roll call, please?
Arvisu?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye.
Dobson?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Mayor Corman?
Aye. Does anybody have anything for mayor council communication tonight? Moving right along.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, no.
Oh, we have
sorry.
to just
We have
Which
to
one?
do
acknowledge the staff
planning,
report.
The charter commission.
Yeah, but we don't have, we have to, you're
We
right.
just have to approve the planning and then the charter, which you
Approve
guys.
the reports. Would somebody like to approve those reports?
So you just need a motion for them?
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to approve the planning commission and charter commission year-end reports.
Second.
First and second? Seth, you look like you have a
And, well, and just to state the results of our meeting with the Planning Commission, as we're all,
Charter.
or of the Charter Commission. We are going to be looking for 5, hopefully, new members of the Charter Commission. So hope the public will consider that. Meets 2 times a year.
Bringing that up. So y'all can be thinking about that out there in TV land. 2 times a year is all you have to come. All righty, motion to adjourn?
Roll
Well, we have
call
roll
on
call.
those parts.
Did we not do we? Oh, sorry.
Not on the
Sorry,
year-end
I'm
one.
trying to get like.
So Dotson,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Teagues,
Aye.
Avisa,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Corman.
Aye. All righty.
Now motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Make sure y'all give this back to.
I just wanted to vote no on something that wasn't controversial, so.
That's very controversial.
Well, I knew I'd be the only one, so it carried.
Unless you're having a slumber party.
Make sure that y'all give these back to Diana.